You are.
Looks good. Can you all hear me in the room? Can you hear me on Zoom? What?
This is the question.
Yeah, she said she's born at 5 o'clock today, so let's see if that's the right number. It's a typo.
Right number. This last page has 2 voided checks on it, so that reduces the total.
Oh,
This is the same.
Oh, I didn't see it.
The last page.
okay. I didn't look on the back. Agenda is correct. I just looked at this. All right. Mission solved.
537 is correct. Fulton County, what we should do for our architect for the pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, vote, please.
Chairman Tickenen, Commissioner Kiernan,
Present.
Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Jansen,
Here.
Commissioner Britz.
Here. Item B is a public hearing for the Hamlin Apartments in retail rebuild. Motion to open.
So support.
The motion to open Commissioner Jansen, second by Commissioner Karen, to open the hearing. Special public comment. We have a Jeff Radcliffe from PETA on what it is. Is Mr. Hamlin here by chance? What they're looking for, as I read through this, is the Brownfield Act. Vote from the board on using Brownfield money to clean the site up. I understand we have a gentleman here that would like to discuss this. You go to the board, please. The board does have exhibits from
I'm Tom Kernan, owner of the South Range Pub and neighbor to the lot being questioned here. I have no disputes about the Brownfield Act or anything like that. My dispute was after seeing the exhibits on the survey or the eligible property boundaries, which went through the middle of my building and then through my backyard. I needed to make sure that something wasn't going to be taken away if this gets approved. So after today, I had talked to the consultant firm who drew this up. He apologized, he drew it wrong. And he said he messed up. So that figure 2-1 eligible boundaries, that's not a legit. The green outline is not legit. So, and the eligible property survey and the site plans don't even exist on this program. And to get to the number 2.1, it calls for a survey, a hard survey. And that's basically what I'm here just to say. Let the program go through, request a hard survey on that property and make sure that the markers are where they're supposed to be. That's all I'm asking for. Good for everybody in the village, me, the neighbor, that we have our boundaries marked. And I wish it would have got done before they started the project because it's an old town and that kind of stuff. But this is a pretty good sized project that's going on there with a lot of moving stuff around, and I think it needs a good survey.
questions.
This project has, you mentioned it's begun already?
It's pretty far along. It's been moving. I don't want to really get into it, but it's been moving way before a lot of things should be good going.
Well, has it hampered your current property, like currently? I mean, are you infringed upon, or are you able to operate, or is it?
I wish I would have been able to see a site plan or I asked for clarity from George and from Craig, what's being built as a neighbor, because we're literally a foot apart between buildings.
Okay. Who is George? Who is George?
George is the president of the South Range.
Okay.
George Eakins.
Okay.
And going to their community meetings, I said, I'd like to see some clarity, what's being built, and never once did I see a plan, never anything at all. And this is the first time I'm seeing at least a floor plan, and looking off of that floor plan, some of it doesn't look right, but again, I'm not here to dispute it. I just like to make sure that piece of property got surveyed and that we know, they know, everybody knows where their property line is. But the project's pretty well along.
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Todd, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, is there anything you can share with us?
Sure, as far as the Hamlin project, he got the proper zoning from the South Range Village. We issued the building permit. It is a commercial space down below with the up second story was a duplex. And that project right now, roughings has been done and it's in the drywall stage on that. He had stamped engineer drawings from Nate Dermo and how all the fire separations and everything were to be done and them been all reviewed and approved. So as far as the building department side of the building, he had everything necessary to obtain a permit. As far as actual lot lines, that is
outside of you.
that's outside of our building permit.
So did he build in a current?
It was
footprint that
it was Fred's auto that burned up there, and he built off the existing mine rock walls
Okay,
on the exterior, and to get the second story going for the duplex up above and commercial down below.
so if the survey is incorrect, I mean, the building is where it was, there may be some question as to how much.
Yeah, he's sitting on an existing foundation.
Okay.
Of the property.
You don't believe it'll extend over onto his property anyway?
I cannot contest to that going on there. Don't know where the property lines are. That is the owner's responsibility. And there was an existing structure there. So, you know, my concern as the building inspector was that that building is going up and it's meeting our code. And as far as property lines, that is the owner's responsibility.
Documentation we have shows, first off, the original plat that's not very important, which shows the boundary lines of that, of lot 16. We have a survey of lot 17 and 18, which kind of owns, but does not include a survey of lot 16, just showing on this survey. Is that building above right up to your building?
And by the road, like I said, it's 12 to 18 inches gap in between them both.
And you have no problem with that portion of it?
I was saying, I would like to see the elevations because it towers over my building. And the roof line, I wish he would have sloped it towards the road rather than coming over the top of my building. Because I get a lot of snow now. When it blows from the west, coming over onto my roof, I'm constantly up there shoveling.
And this one here, that you passed on was, the green line is hand drawn in or drawn in by the gentleman.
The green line is what the consultant
From
submitted.
California.
They submitted that line with their pamphlet for this act.
Which shows it on the property.
Going right through my property, right through my backyard. Not a lot on the backyard, but probably 10 to 15 feet into my backyard.
But you stated that he said that that's an error.
I called him today and he called back and he said he was wrong. He's wrong. That is not those lines are not correct.
So it seems like we kind of having, as far as building goes, I mean, the building is to code, is to permits were filed and.
I'm not disputing that or this act or anything. I just do. For my end, I went through it last year with my fence in the backyard, talking about, and I went and got a survey. I found things out. We all found out things, and it was just, we're talking to those two guys. It would have been a good thing just to carry on. All you needed to do is put a survey on it that you know where you're going. But I wouldn't be here unless, if those lines were, if it was a true survey, I wouldn't even be here. Because we would have known. And to see those lines going through my building and through my backyard, I can't let that go.
We've got Jeff Ratcliffe waiting to make a comment on Zoom. Jeff, this is a good time. You want to mute yourself?
Good evening, folks, from snowy Whitefish, Montana. Just wanted to, so I have online Mac McClellan, the Houghton County Brownfield Authority's consultant who prepared this plan. So I'm going to in just a moment, let Mac talk about the plan, because that's the purpose of this public hearing, is for a brownfield plan approvals, so that we can assist Mr. Hamlin with tax increment financing for his project. I think one of the key things, and Todd noted it, this was a project that met all of the, hang on a moment. That it met all of the local planning and zoning requirements. And Mac will also address this, but the plan is based on a platted lot. So this is, it's, as Todd noted, this was an existing building. So everything about this plan is related to an existing platted lot in an existing structure. So, the brownfield plan itself doesn't have anything to do with, where that building is. It's on a set thing. So, but I'm going to let Mac talk about the plan and the nature of the document itself, and hopefully clarify and get everybody a good understanding. So, Mac, take it away.
Yep, I'm the guy that made a mistake on the map. So I apologize for that. Talked with Tom today, and I apologize for that. It was just sort of a quick scope to show the general eligible boundaries. It wasn't meant to be a survey map, but I certainly understand Tom's concern when he sees the east line that infringes on his property. The brownfield plan is only for that parcel, that eligible property parcel. So even though that map doesn't show that accurately, it only is the parcel that is in question for the Hamlin project. The purpose here is really to assist in dealing with the difference between development costs, extraordinary costs, and the potential revenues for a project. And this tax increment financing helps close that gap. It provides for the capture of the increasing taxes generated by the investment over time, and then it goes back to reimburse some of those extraordinary costs up to a maximum limit that's included within the brownfield plan. So it is essentially a tool to assist projects in moving forward. Again, it only relates to that eligible property. There is no infringement of anything, either tax generation or tax capture or anything else on any adjacent or any other properties, unless they're listed within the brownfield plan. So it only relates to this particular brownfield plan. I'm not sure if I'll leave it at that and be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
So how much brownfield are we actually looking at?
I'm sorry?
Is there a dollar amount on the brownfield you're actually looking for? I'm looking at this, I don't see exactly.
I'm sorry, I have a difficult time. Was it the amount of brownfield? Is that correct?
How much money from the brownfield are you looking for?
Yes, thank you. It is approximately over time $136,000. So the project generates about $10,000 a year in incremental taxes, and so it would be captured over. That right in my brain here. Captured over a period of 15 years.
15 years.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't have that right handy. And then after that, the taxes go back to the taxing jurisdictions.
Any other questions?
And I'll just clarify in terms of the process now. The brownfield plan has been approved by the Brownfield Authority, by the Village of South Range, and Adams Township. This is a public hearing that's required under Act 381, and then subsequent to the public hearing will be consideration of a resolution by the county board to approve the brownfield plan.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I hear them saying, there was, lines were wrong, but they're looking for the eligible property boundaries. Again, the definition is hard stakes to satisfy that and there's no hard stakes in that property. Sure, we got to apply for that kind of stuff. I really still think it should be to satisfy everybody. We got a legit survey on that property that's on record.
Well, I struggle to fall back on the village plat, which shows dimensions of the property. So, maybe more about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with your apprehension here. I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing this for 25 years. And I have encountered, even in the city of Houghton, a block not too far from here, where the original plat is set up, but when you look at where the houses are set, supposedly on each lot, the lot line crosses through these houses one by one. And the reason for that is a proposed road that was supposed to be put in was never put in. These plat maps are from 100 some years ago, and they don't always, the town doesn't always, complete the development that was originally platted. So I understand your trepidation here. The cost of having lot 16, I think that's where this project is, to have that surveyed is nominal, like maybe max $2,000 for the size of the project. That seems like a nominal thing to ask for to proceed, and just to, kind of even goodwill to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the exact boundaries where this project is going to be.
Just for your information, I had all 4 of mine surveyed. It was $1,400
Okay.
for the 4 lots. So it's a minimum.
Yeah.
It's insurance.
Yeah.
Basically, it's insurance.
Yeah.
I think what we're dealing with is just the TIF, obviously, and the brownfield, and like our building inspector said, he's building on what was there. So I don't know if we can't require, I don't think we can require them to get a survey. I mean, if you had yours surveyed,
Yeah.
and you say my property ends here, and he says, no, it ends here, I don't think we can get in the middle of that. I think it's good. I agree that maybe you should have a survey, but if you had yours surveyed and someone's infringing on my property, I'd say, sorry, that's mine. So I think for the purpose of this discussion, like Jeff said, we're just, whether we prove this or not, I don't know if we can get into, not that you're warring. I understand your point. You want to make sure that your land stays on yours and he stays on his, and maybe you have some problems with this building, understandably so, but like Todd said, that he applies to all the right things, and you can always wish your neighbor's roof did different things. I'm not, I hear you, but on the flip side, I think we need
This
to.
is kind of what I had last year when I went through my fence. I went with the survey, and I found out a lot of stuff that I didn't think was back there, but it showed up on, and when I went to the village meeting with George, the president, and with Mr. Hamlin too, walked in the backyard, and all the stakes were there, everything was pounded in legal. I said, and they're like, well, that can't be. And I said, it is. It's right. It's been there for so long, and people just move into other people's spaces, and try to work with them. I said, but it is what it is. This is where it's going to go. Can we work together, or can't we? But that's exactly what happened.
Roy, I think Jeff has.
One question here. Do you know where your pins are on that side of the property?
I know where. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, may I jump in? The key element on this.
Hang on a second, Jeff.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know where all stakes are in your property. Yep. They are. Yep. They're all in there. They're all. But the ones that go down deep.
Is this construction on your side of the property line? Is this construction on your side?
No.
So it's not impinging on your property?
No, nothing's on my property line. Again, when I started seeing those green lights on my property line, and this is gonna get approved without me coming talking to you guys, what was really gonna happen? Because now it was approved, now these lines these lines would have been approved, that's the way I look at it.
Well, I'm talking to you guys, you did your survey, and that line exists, and you know where that line is.
Mm-hmm.
To have them survey, that line just be verified.
They have to survey. Basically, all they need to survey is the west end of that property. Because my pins go from the back, the last 2 pins are on the corner of the property. Let me pull my map. There's pins on the corner of 18 and 17 on the road. There's a pin at the back of 7. There's a pin at the back of 6, and there's a pin on the corner, the angle corner of 6. And then one on the back of 17, right on the corner of the
Right where it says alley there. Right where the alley word is. Right where it says alley. That pin is in.
Yep, exactly right.
So I guess, that's what I'm saying is, if you know where that line is, it's been surveyed, to have them, require them to survey it, it's just gonna verify that line.
Mm-hmm. Well, my main thing is to, just, again, coming in here is just to make sure those green lines, like Mac was saying, they're wrong. That the council knows those are lines that are not right on that map.
Yeah, you have something?
Mr. Chair, can I address the board?
Yes.
The key element with this plan and with tax increment finance is that it is based ultimately on the PID, the property identification number. It is the taxes that are paid on that property. And while there is a boundary, in this case, it is a platted lot, and apparently at least the east boundary is known, and I couldn't hear whether it was determined whether the building encroaches on his survey, but for the purposes of this plan, the ultimate issue is the capture of taxes, which are based on the PID and the platted lot description that is what the assessors use in their system. So the actual boundaries, again, unless there's legal action that somebody's going to take because of the building is encroached, I mean, ultimately the value of the property is in the building.
And again, I apologize for making a mistake, and certainly I understand Tom's concern. I will change that map. We will revise that map in the final brownfield plan that will more accurately show, just generally those, it's not a survey, but it will more accurately show the eligible property boundary. But it is all based on parcel identification numbers and codes. So.
Thank you. Anybody else on board?
Okay. Mac wants me to send him a copy.
Oh,
of my
and can I add one other element here, because it was important. I did talk to Craig Hamlin this evening, and he wanted to express his he could not make it to the meeting, be here himself. He is in, I believe, Green Bay at a hospital with a family member who has bad health issues. So his apologies for not being here tonight. So I'm sorry for interrupting.
I was mentioning it. He wants me to send Mac wants me to send it. If they're gonna redraw that map, I can get his.
You won't get a copy unless if you speak into the microphone, they'll be able to hear you.
Where's the mic? Over there?
Yeah.
That's okay. I can hear you. Okay, Tom, you can send it to me. That would be great.
If you need me to send you a copy of our survey, you can draw your lines where they need to be and then submit that back to for that plan.
That would be very helpful. Thank you. Yep,
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Discussing this.
Motion to close the hearing.
Support.
Motion made to close the hearing, supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, the next one is approval of the minutes from the February 22nd, 2026 work session and the February 10th, 2026 regular board meeting. And the March 2nd, 2026 work session.
So moved.
We just have the February 2nd and March 2nd. Clerk Kelly's still waiting for some, is that correct, Clerk?
Yes, please.
So we're approving the two work sessions and not the.
Correct.
The board meeting on February 2nd.
Yeah, because we don't have those present, so.
Okay. So I will move that we approve the minutes for the February 2nd work session.
Or. Yes.
Motion made and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of the agenda.
There's one thing I wanted to add, unless it's been added and I don't see it,
No, it isn't.
and that's the,
Great.
yes. It is. The appointing Keith Anderson as the 97th District Court Magistrate. And this was requested to be discussed tonight or approved tonight by Judge Donatello. So I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Number 10 on new business.
Yes.
I'll support that amended agenda.
Okay, I also like to add one thing on the agenda. The Sharon Avenue property, our piece that
Oh,
were
yes.
in your package, we just received them today, so.
That'll be number 11.
Sorry?
Number 11 is for
Yes,
that.
number 11.
Okay. With those two additions, I'll you. Motion that.
Support.
I'll second that with the two additions.
Motion made and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So there's approval with the additions. Public comment, agenda items only.
Chairman, on the travel request, it is not Sarah Hookie doing the traveling. It is my mechanical plumbing inspector, Chad Hammerstrom, doing for continuous ed. And on the agenda, it has building department Sarah Hookie, but that name needs to be replaced with Chad Hammerstrom.
The budget item.
Yes.
We also, our agenda also missed the report that this was, I think we really wrote that with the commissioner reports, Commissioner Karen.
Is there no public comments then? I'll steal Gretchen's thunder. I'll congratulate the Houghton Gremlins hockey team. In case you forgot, you get in trouble,
Yeah,
so.
well, I guess I'm proud of them, but
So everything else is here, Mr. Chairman, so that's it.
I was able to tour the Delta County Jail on Friday, and that was eye-opening. I took a lot of notes. I'm gonna kind of distill that and write something that makes a lot more sense than my chicken scratch and share it with the jail committees. But I mean, it was like stepping into the future, sort of. I mean, it's sort of where we really should be. Maybe ours would be stepping into the past in comparison. It was a pretty amazing thing to see, and I wish that we all had that opportunity, because I think if people could see that, they would understand our need better, and we'd have a better chance, I think, of getting the public support for what we like to do. But yeah, it was eye-opening. It was a pretty incredible thing to see.
I've got a couple of things from the meeting of the road commission. Just to pass on, local road restrictions are on now. They began on March 4th at 10 a.m. and until further notice until road conditions change. There's a information. Something that was passed on from Kevin also, he's going to pass on all the townships. Semco has been going out talking in different townships about their right to run gas lines along the roadways. The road commission's got an opinion from an attorney. It says, well, just to highlight the one part, says Kevin is correct that Semco needs right-of-way permits from the road commission in addition to permits from the township. So they can't just question in your district. They can't just give permission to the township. They still have to go through the road commission get permits to do anything under there. If they don't get the permits, they're liable for any damage. So that's opinion from the road commission attorneys. That's something we want to agree with you. He's gonna be able to all the townships, make sure they're aware, and he discussed it with a couple of them already. And Chelsea, and then the snowfall, Jerry Holland gave report from me. At the end of February in Haynesdale, we got 255.4 inches. And last year at the end of February, it was 255.3. 21 inches. But the big thing is, from the 18th to the 25th, we got 50 inches of snow. We've dumped up pretty good during that time. So we're at 255 at the end of February. Most of them more coming. That's all I have to report. Back to the agenda, I skipped something inadvertently. We have payment of the bills. Approval of the bills for $1,672,537.41.
So moved.
I'll support.
Approved, or motion by Commissioner Karen, seconded by Commissioner Jansen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Karen.
Yes.
Commissioner Jansen.
Yes.
Commissioner Brits.
Yes. Unfinished business. Start small, funding request, final approval to conclude some minutes in the last minute meeting. Well, I was at the last meeting, but when I read the full minutes, I noticed potentially an error in it. So I reached out to the clerk and just really ended up bringing it back to the board. I believe it was approved, the board approved going ahead with it. A little history on it. It was ARPA money used for this project, and we approved $200,000 over a 3-year period. The first year we gave $156,500. That's incorrect. So we have.
That's just up to.
That's the first 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the first 2 years, $156,500. They requested $41,000 for the third year of the grant, and the minutes show that the board approved $144,500 when there's only $43,500 left, but they requested $41,000. So I think we have to amend that the motion from the last meeting and correct it in this meeting. Your thoughts?
So they requested 41, but we have 43.5.
If we have left 43.5
Correct.
of that 200,000 we had earmarked for them, but they requested 41.
Correct.
So it's just $2,500 difference.
Our board minutes shows that it reads, a motion was made by Commissioner Anderson, seconded by Commissioner Jansen to authorize $144,500 for the Start Small project. Instead, that motion should have been $40,000.
So we need to amend the minutes, is that correct, Madam Clerk?
If that's what you tell me, yes.
Okay, so
I'll make a motion to amend the minutes and have the request for $41,000 for the Start Small.
motion by Commissioner Karen, supported by Commissioner Jansen to amend the minutes and correct it to 41.
Aye.
Thank you. Building department job search update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we advertised for another building inspector position here within the county. I believe I got about 8 applicants. Only 3 of them applicants pertain to the actual building trade. We interviewed all 3 of them. Is my recommendation to the board that we accept the new hire of Joel Watson. Very strong candidate. He holds a Michigan builder's license, been in the construction trades for more than 30 years, and currently a lead job foreman for LJJ Construction. A whole bunch of knowledge to the table, both residential and commercial. And his application was the only one that was filled out completely incorrectly. That being said, please vote on Mr. Watson for me.
Is he, I mean, he works for LJJ, Todd. Has he been a local county resident, or do you know, or can you?
Yes, he's been a county resident all his life. I know he resides in Dollar Bay.
And his salary is basically covered from the building department, is that correct?
That's correct. There's nobody in the building department that's paid a general fund.
Right, just, I knew that, wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're paying for your own employee. The people of Houghton County are paying for the new employee by permit fees and by.
All by permit fees, yes. Yeah. And they're just, I know I'm a big guy, there's just not enough for me to go around.
So you need us to approve this hire? To approve
Joel Watson.
Joel Watson for the building inspector position.
Support.
Just a comment on that, I did sit on the interviews with the administrator in his office manager, Sarah. I was very impressed with him. Fantastic job. He's fired out the answers to the questions. It was very impressive. I think it was a good choice. Had reached out to him.
Yes, he accepted if it's approved.
Motion made by Commissioner Karen, Commissioner Jansen, supported by Commissioner Karen to hire Joel Watson.
What will his title be, Todd? I mean, just.
His title will be building inspector.
Same.
Yeah, he has to come aboard and he has to take an exam to get a builder inspector's license from the state. For, you know, to be inspector within Houghton County. So he'll be registered. And then he also has to do all the continuous education that all of us inspectors have to do.
With the all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Under new business, amendment to reciprocal easement agreement. Mr. Larson here.
Up at the airport, you have the lots, lot 18, which was owned by Mercy Ambulance, which they still own the bottom half of it. The top half they sold to the Top Round Academy. And it was just recognized by the title company that the reciprocal easement that goes down Industrial Drive just has never been formally approved. So they just want to have a chance to snow plow whatever they want along Industrial Drive there, as everyone has with the easement set and circle all the lots. So this is drafted by your attorney, Roger Zappa. He approves this and just said to make sure that I get this before the Board of Commissioners. So on behalf of the Copper Mountain Academy, they just want to extend the easement, which they already have by the school. This would connect to the north 225 feet of lot 18. Again, this was written by Roger Zappa's amendment with this. He told me to get in front of you. So
This did go before the airport board, and we realized that we had come before the full board. So a motion to.
So move to adopt the reciprocal agreement as presented and.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Karen, by Commissioner Jansen to approve the amendment to the easement agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, the resolution of the brownfield that we just spoke about earlier.
Make a motion that we approve the Hamilton Apartments and Retail Rebuild Brownfield Plan Resolution.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Jansen, supported by Commissioner Karen to the
Voice. Yeah. Commissioner Jansen?
Yes.
Commissioner Karen?
Yes.
Commissioner Brits?
yes. we have Lewis Balance resolution where support for doing contract. So,
And Louis is joining us on Zoom if you have questions for him.
Yes, I'm here. This is, Lewis Balance, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. You can see me now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
you want to give us some information on it?
Oh, okay. I thought I did that last week, but I'll refresh you. I'm sorry?
We have a different audience here today, but if you want to go ahead and speak, go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah, I am looking to bring Amtrak to the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and it would come up from Chicago to Escanaba, then up to Houghton Hancock and Calumet, and line east to Sault Ste. Marie and St. Ignace, and a line west to Duluth, Minnesota. All of the trains would, there would be one train a day to start. It'd be a overnight train, so we can get to the connections in Chicago for 10 o'clock in the morning. Federal and state funded. This would be. We have an opportunity right now to get $8 billion of federal funds through the DOT. So we would need as much support as we can from everyone in the in the governmental entities to get this get the support going. And if we can get your council of governments up there to put in for a quarter ID study, it'd be great, so we can get on the list to get this service going. I can foresee probably within the next 1 or 2 years we can potentially get this going. And as of right now, this bus service we have, Indian Trails, is not connecting us properly to the National Transportation Network. So that's why I took it upon myself as a Amtrak passenger to spearhead the effort to get the Amtrak up to the Upper Peninsula and the Northern Lower Peninsula, with service from Flint, East Lansing, and Grand Rapids up to Mackinac City. So there'd be potentially 4 trains going into the Mackinac area, and one going up into your area in the Houghton Hancock area. So is there any other questions that you may have?
The only question I had was from Chassel to and through Houghton. How would you, is there a plan looking at that? Chassel, the rail grade is 15 feet from people's homes, lakefront property, and then Houghton, of course, as we talked about last week, the Michigan Tech building was built all where the railroad grade was.
If we would bridge that subject when it comes up. But the thing is any abandoned rail lines are subject to being reused as rail. That's a provision in the abandonment that that if the rail were ever to come back, that all land would revert from the DNR back to the DOT, and all service would be would be reinstated by the by the rail lines. I know there's a lot of a lot of development that has happened around some of these abandoned rail lines, but they my view is the county zoning should have known this, and they should have prevented any development from happening in that area, because that's part of the rail abandonment, that if the rail were ever to come back, we wouldn't have to have issues like development in these abandoned rail lines. And your recreation would be, secured as well. It would be what's called Rails with Trails program. So it would have a secured trail next to the rail. So you have recreation and transportation in one small footprint. And they've used that out in the West Coast and from Spokane to Seattle on the Empire Builder, right next to the rail line is a trail going all the way from Spokane to Seattle.
And has this project been looked at for the Portage Lake Lift Bridge? You know if that's been considered? Is the bridge in condition to have the train go over again? And you know if that's even been looked at yet?
That I don't know, but I would have. I have seen YouTube videos of the CN train going right over that bridge. According to some of the dates on those videos, it's been within 4 to 6 months. I mean, I don't know if they are reposting old videos or what, but is CN operating up there right now or no?
Yeah, that would be.
We haven't had a train cross that bridge since the 1970s.
Yeah, if you saw that video, that was fake news.
Okay. All right, no problem. I'm just going by what what I saw in there. So, but yeah, okay. Well, if there hasn't been a train over there since 1970, then I would have to say that they would have to get an engineer in there and make sure that the bridge is is suitable for a passenger train to go over it.
We don't even have a resolution to.
Yeah, we
Hold on, so I mean, I think
we said a review on our
Yeah.
agenda for it.
I mean, I think there's a lot more to.
What's the wish?
I think we just table this, and there's a lot more to, as you mentioned, bridges and people's property and universities, and if we can get Amtrak to come back somewhere close to the Copper Country, fine. But I think it's tough to get Amtrak to come back to Houghton or North Houghton or South Keweenaw counties anytime soon. And I guess if you want to drive Amtrak and it comes to Marquette or Lawrence, I guess you may have to drive there. But I don't. Right now, I think we should.
And say my goal was to get it up to Calumet, but if we have to go a little bit south of Houghton, make it easier for you, I would be all for that,
Yeah.
So I received an equal number of, gee, we'd like you to support this, and no, we don't think this is right for this area. I will mention that when properties are sold, like especially between Houghton and Chassel, those deeds include that right of way that the DNR, I guess, holds right now. So those property owners are aware, and title companies have been dealing with this issue probably since those rails were taken out, so that people understood you can't really develop on that right of way. So if somebody put their garage on it or something like that, that's subject to being removed or having to be removed if the rails ever came back. So in that instance, that's sort of already in place. And from what I understand, especially after our flood, that little bridge over the Pilgrim River, there were certain standards that had to be replaced to accommodate a train going over it. So I mean, and I would imagine that the Portage Lake Lift Bridge also has that requirement where, they have to maintain it in case that ever comes back. But yeah, I honestly, I can't imagine that we have the population that would justify having Amtrak come all the way up here. I mean, in my lifetime, I don't think we'll see that.
What's the board's wish on this?
There's nothing really to vote on, but I would say just table it till we see a resolution. I mean, we don't have a resolution to even vote on, so I don't think we need to take any action besides.
I think it's just or resolution.
Yeah, either a formal resolution or a letter of support, whichever works for you, whichever works, the easiest to get it done, that'd be fine.
Did we get?
That's asking.
Yeah, no, there's nothing here to support,
The
so.
work session, he was supposed to
Yeah.
get us samples.
Yeah, yes. So I think he was supposed to get us samples for us to vote on. So,
I did. I shipped it to the administrator, and I'm not sure if they did, if they got that to you or not.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything.
All I have is we have a copy of Keywood coming out.
I make the motion that we just table this until future date and time.
Okay. Motion being to table this and next month we can more information on it. Second by Commissioner Jensen, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll look at it again next month. Resolution supporting House Bill 5152 and 5153.
We're gonna get a, I don't know if we got that, Chelsea. Do we get any recommendation from Mac? That was Commissioner, Chairman Tickett's at the work session. I think he wanted to get Mac's opinion on these two bills. So I don't know if we've heard back from them.
I don't believe we heard back from them. They issued and provided an update. I was over this last week. And I did not hear anything.
So with that, I mean, I know Chairman Pickett and I agree with him, wanted to get Mac's opinion on how they're feeling on these two bills. So with that, I would make the motion that we table this until we hear back from the Michigan Association of Counties and what their opinion is.
Plus the sample resolution you mentioned had the typo in it, hasn't been updated.
Yeah,
That was updated.
The
I don't know
one we
why they
got-
still have a bad one.
Okay, yeah, the one that was in our packet was not.
That should be 5152.
Yeah, I fixed.
Yeah,
Your motion, Commissioner Jensen, Commissioner Karen, support of Commissioner Jensen. All in favor?
Aye.
A resolution opposing any legal preempting local control of the construction of data center battery storage facilities.
so in our packet is the sample from St. Joseph County. I don't know if we have one prepared for us. I think if we did, I would definitely make a motion to approve it, but perhaps we table this till next month.
I would like to see, in addition to that, I mean, at the work session, we talked about that. I mean, this is specifically dealing with the data centers and battery storage. I think that all, the other hot button issues have been windmills and solar panels and other things. I think that, we should pass a resolution that we want to see all these decisions before local boards, whether it be ours, township, village, city, I think that's, so if we can even add to that, I'd like to see a resolution that not only gets the local control and local people, and whether it's in this case, the data centers, but, I don't think it was South Range, but the windmills up in Adams Township or wherever it was there years ago was a hotly contested thing, and I don't know whether this would apply to that, but yes, I would like to see maybe in addition to that, but dealing with this one right now, and again, we have to table it, instead of even have the resolution in front of us.
Table this one also?
Yep.
I'll support.
Supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Houghton County E911 advisory board purchase request. $27,500 for 800 megahertz fire power cages and $8,000 for 800 megahertz batteries, radio batteries. Came from the advisory board for 911, recommended to this board the approval of expenditure.
8,500 for the fire department pagers and 8,000 for the. What's that, Megan? 800 megahertz batteries.
And that comes from the 911
Comes on 911 fund, yes.
support.
Motion made by Commissioner Dancer, supported by Commissioner Karen to approve 27,500 for the page of the fire department. And $8,000 for 800 megahertz batteries.
It's budgeted.
But it's not a budget, like, because that the 911 funds.
I would vote then.
Okay.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Commissioner Briggs.
Yes. Review of the proposed deputy finance manager position. Administrator. Oh,
Commissioners, I am respectfully requesting the board to approve the creation of a full-time and permanent deputy finance manager position in the county finance department. Currently, the administrative and finance offices are experiencing increasing operational demands, requirements. Furthermore, our finance manager is on leave and that she will not return to work until August. This leaves myself to do both the administrative and finance duties by myself. So I'm requesting this position to remain permanent with finance manager's return in August.
we did advertise for a part-time position.
We did advertise back in December for a part-time position to help us in finance and also to fill the finance manager's maternity leave. We had 2 applicants, one of which assumed a different role in the county office. The other one was not, it didn't materialize, and we continue to have problems trying to find applicants. The position has been out there for more than 3 months now, and we have no luck. Additionally, we've been contracting for financial work since June 2024. We also obtained another financial consultant in December of 2025, and obtaining this full-time position would reduce the cost of the county because we would terminate the contract financial personnel.
Right now, both of the contact people that we have working strongly recommended the county forward with something like this because of the workload out there. And the salary range is 50 to 60,000.
Correct.
Can we, I know you, part-time, I mean, prior to, a few months ago, we brought the responsibilities from the other, we brought everything up to the 5th floor from different areas of the courthouse that were, I think that was a good move. I look at what we have to do with our single point of entry. We're, Houghton County is gonna have to hire a few people, I guess deputies or people in law enforcement to man the door there. I would like to see us somehow offer it. I mean, we offer in a part-time role. I'm assuming the part-time people were not currently within the county that applied, so 2 people applied for it. So I would like to possibly see how we can maybe get people from within the county, whether the clerk can however that works. I don't know the details of, union, non-union, all those different things and what can be done. But is there somebody within this courthouse that can spare, whatever, at a part-time basis, go up to the 5th floor and be responsible to the administrator without hiring a full-time person? I feel like, back, I haven't been here that long, but now we have, obviously, there's 3 there. There's yourself, Chelsea, Paige, and Alex, correct?
Correct.
And I mean, prior to that, well, Ben's gone, but there was Ben, Becky, and yourself.
Correct.
And prior to that, it was Beth or Elizabeth and Eric, correct? I'm just going.
And Becky.
And Becky was there with Elizabeth and Eric.
Bev Smith was on the call.
And Bev from your office was.
Yep, she was up a short.
Yeah. I guess the only reason I say that is it got brought out to me. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed. I went to apply for a passport within Houghton County. And I didn't have an appointment. I didn't know you needed one. I should have assumed that. And I went to the Register of Deeds office. And I don't begrudge for something. I think it was someone's last day of work, and there was 2 employees standing there. They got done with the party. And they said, well, we can't help you. You got to make an appointment. So I said, well, I'm just here for a passport. Nobody was in the office. They weren't doing anything. And I was a little bit taken aback by that. And I filled out the application. It takes a little while. It took me 20 minutes. While those same 2 people did nothing in the office. So I feel like we need to help up there. But how can we do it in-house? I mean, I know Sarah did some of that before. I think Bev or Renee or whoever did. I don't know all the details, but I'd like to see that and then get them up on the 5th floor. Because again, we got a deputy standing in the back. We have to hire guys for a single point of entry. I feel like I wasn't in the meetings. I'm not trying to make us run on a skeleton staff and not get the bills paid and whatever. But I feel like I'd like to see that. I think the county would save money rather than hiring another person with, again, 50 to 60,000 with benefits and retirement. We're $70,000, $80,000 a year, I'm assuming, guessing, I don't know that, but so I'm torn on this one where I think I'd like to see us go in a different direction, hiring another person. So that's I
agree with that. Spending money is hard to do. But knowing what we've gone through in the last 6 years of transition up there and people moving and changing, we seem to be getting further and further behind on our finances in the county. You talk to a lot of the department heads, there's issues going on that things aren't getting done on time, and a lot of it's because of the movement of the staff here, and not having permanent staff sticking around. 5th floor is, and right now our administrator, I'm gonna tell you, she's bogged down with our finance officer going on medical leave now because she had to. She was supposed to work in the May. She's leaving now. And Chelsea said she probably went back till August. And we can't get part-time. Part of the reason we moved everything upstairs, things I thought were working pretty well the way they were, but accounting principles created a lot of stuff that the county was not doing correctly. Is that correct on that?
Correct. We've gotten written up for our audit, and we were advised by both the financial consultant and also our auditors to do what we did by moving finance into the administration office.
So that created a lot of the reason we moved people around, or moved positions around, job responsibilities, because we had to start doing things correctly. And by doing that, it created the people moving like they did, it created a lot of problems that they're weighing very heavy right now.
So would it be correctly, I mean, a scenario, like Sarah from the building department was doing some of the, I think, all the online payments, is that correct?
Correct.
So would that be acceptable to the principles of, like you were determining, if I have no idea, if she were to come up to the 5th floor, could she do that, or is that a conflict of interest, or would she meet those requirements to do that? If she was willing or able, or someone else in the county, or what, is there any?
I think the largest concern would be the union, non-union arrangement. Sarah's position is non-union, but she would have to be funded through the general fund. Currently, her full salary comes out of the building department. So that would be a misappropriation if we use the building department personnel under their salary for administration tasks.
So if we divided it up, could that be done? I mean, if we said, okay, Todd doesn't want to lose an employee, I'm sure, but 75% building department, 25% from, where it wouldn't do that?
That would
be a misappropriation.
Then I want to interject on that is take it on another building inspector within that, busy as our department's been, we're taxed down there. My opinion, I want to keep Sarah in the building department and not do anything off anywhere else.
Well, I'm not speaking, I'm just using.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm using that as an example. I have no idea if she'd even, I know she did that in the past. That's why I'm not saying she wants to or doesn't want to, but I concur. So if there's someone in this building that was willing to do that, that's my question. If it can be done, that's what I feel like.
Something we also need is consistency.
Yeah.
We need someone that's going to stick around, learn the job and stick around and be consistent to what's going on in the county. This fluxing of bodies moving and changing is just creating more of a problem for us.
Well, I think that's a problem, just not in the county. I think it's a problem everywhere.
Yeah, it is, but we're experiencing it here. And that's what we have to address it with this board.
So our agenda item just says review this position. I mean, are we being asked for an action here?
I am asking for an action to accept the position. I was out of the office last week, so I did not prepare the agenda. So it is misworded on the agenda. Rather than review, I would be looking for a motion to approve the position.
I think with the fact that our finance officer is gone for the next 2 months, this puts it on a hot burner to act on this and try to get someone in place if the board chooses to go that way to take some pressure off the administrator. Age is doing a wonderful job helping out, but it's you know, you look at it, I keep hearing, well, they did it in the old days this way. Well, I'm gonna tell you, you know, I'm a county employee for almost 30 years. And there was someone in the clerk's office, there was someone on the 5th, 2 people on the 5th floor. There was someone in another office down there, they did some too. Well, Sarah did some stuff. So it wasn't just 2 people doing the workload. It was spread out through the county. And the county is expanding, they're getting, every office is getting more and more busy. And to keep asking them to do more and more in each office, is that fair to them? Is that fair to the office? I don't know how the clerk feels about it, having her staff doing more. But then again, your staff is a union, correct? And that creates a problem with accounting principles. That was part of the reason I got moved out of there. But every office, we run a lean county here. I mean, you know, we do a lot of stuff here with minimal staffing. And I agree, Joel, with you 100%. That if we have to go to that single point entry, that's going to be a fight somewhere. And the sheriff, I know he's trying to brainstorm. We had a meeting last week trying to brainstorm how we can do it. He's got some thoughts and some ideas that, you know, we're going to have to look at down the road. But this is the county finances. This takes, in my mind, priority to get the county on track with all our finances.
I guess I'd like to make a motion that we approve this deputy finance manager position.
For support. Hearing none, I will support it.
I guess, like, I mean, I'm not, again, I mean, I guess I'm kind of against it, but just when I look at the other things you have to do, not trying to make Chelsea work 90 hours a week, but I just, again, single point of entry and just other avenues. So I mean,
I agree with you. I feel like I'm not a spender. I don't like to spend money, but I know the problems are on the 5th floor and our finances will be addressed.
And I feel like single point of entry and this are 2 separate issues. I see the relation, but ultimately they're 2 separate issues. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Jansen to approve the position, seconded by Commissioner Britz. Let's do a roll call.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Britz?
Yes.
Commissioner Karen?
no.
The administrator go ahead and advertise for the position.
Actually, Tri-County Public Plan. Number 9.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Tri-County Public Defenders February 2026 payment request of $76,000 for $76,041.27.
Within their budget. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the payment request for Tri-County Public Defenders February 2026 payment of $76,041.27.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Jansen, supported by Commissioner Karen to approve the payment to the public Tri-County Public Defenders amount of $76,041.27. All in favor?
So, he needs us to just kind of approve his appointment of Keith Anderson as the 97th District Court Magistrate. So I would like to make a motion that we do so.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Janice, supported by Commissioner Karen to approve the motion of Keith Anderson to probate court, or to the district court magistrate. All in favor?
Aye.
11 Sharon Avenue, FFP, I asked to have it in the package, but not here. Not my package. Something that talks about it and building inspector and our building manager. And I said to myself, I got with one engineer, I got with OHM and Tommy up at Sharon Avenue. We asked for proposals doing structural analysis of the building, we use the building for potential storage and some office space. They're in the packet here if you had a chance to look at them or not. Travelers engineering being taxed at $21,500, but they're charging in accordance with the current rate scale and the estimate of a lump sum fee of $21,500, but they're actually charging at their current rate. OHM and okay, they came in at $20,000. They're giving it, they did a lot of work for us in the past when we looked at moving the courts up there. So they gave us a $4,500 deduction in their proposal to make it $20,000 from $24,500. Do the structural analysis and review the building for its use as we use. And then our third one was BOC Engineering, who came in at $34,750. Because I walked through with OHM and Todd and Tommy, and then they walked in with the other two engineering firms. Todd, do you have anything to say on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, regards to meeting with all three engineering firms up there. Each one of them was structural, well, OHM had their structural engineer there. Travers, JP is a structural engineer. So in regards to the efficiency within the sanctuary area is where we asked them to make a proposed storage area to increase the snow load on that roof. And the engineer from OHM, her describing that was that they figure they can do that up within the existing trusses without having to go down, putting any footings under the floor and putting a support wall down the middle of the building. Their other recommendations and the amount of time that they've been on this building already, I was really impressed with how they say they were going to look at creating storage in that area, and then in the gatherings part of the building that is up to code with the roof, turning that into office space. So after reviewing all three of these, it would be my recommendation if we move forward and go with OHM.
And they are the low bidder as well. So
right, yeah, the low bidder. And they already have a lot of schematic design from 4 years ago.
with the county being, right now we're paying $11,000 a year in storage at the records, that the old lodge portion, the church portion, would probably cover that with some little bit of labor and put some the dividers in there, and once the roof is beefed up, or the structure would be touched to hold it. And then the county, this building is packed. We all know that. We have some offices that have said they would like to move there if it happens. We have the Hancock over in Michigan. Extension that we have to make space for in the near future. So we have use for it, we have a need for it. There's money in the ARPA funds that was earmarked for Sharon Avenue that could help pay for this portion and possibly some construction. But I think it's something that we have to seriously look at and consider.
One of the things I did ask all the engineers to look at in the building code was to, because it's approximately a 15,000 square foot building, if we can build a 3-hour firewall between the storage area and the office space to reduce, with a 3-hour wall that becomes 2 separate buildings, and reduce that square footage, that we could potentially stay away from fire suppression. I think we may be able to achieve that, but I'm also in the engineers court. They were looking into that for us.
On both sides, you would need fire suppression.
If we don't, if we need to reduce the square footage, so we do need a 3-hour fire separation wall.
Which would basically turn one building into 2 buildings, you're saying?
Correct, yeah.
In the garage portion in the back, we had talked about originally back when we were looking at it for the courts, tearing that portion down, but part of the deal with the church was when they left, they replaced the roof on that section of the building. And our maintenance, Tommy Bingham, was up there, and he fell in love with it because it was a garage. He could put his tools there, use it for a shop, for something he has to do. And he's pretty much looking on a cubby wall here. So it would really help. You can use that area there for building maintenance and supplies and so on and so forth. And then with the kitchen, if you all walk through with the kitchen and the gathering area, that could all be office space potentially. And I think it's a win-win for the county.
I'll make a motion, we approve OHM's proposal. $25,000.
Support.
By Commissioner Chairman's approval of exam for $20,000 structural building. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Jansen.
Yes.
Commissioner Kiernan.
Yes.
Commissioner Briggs.
Yes. Thank you. Travel, the communication community, there you go. Travel, building department, Sarah Oki.
No.
No.
Chad. I'll make the motion that we approve the 1310 for Chad Hammerstrom for his continuing ed. There you go. Was 1310, right? $1,310, Todd. That's what this is.
Yeah, what you got on there.
Yeah.
Chad's going to come to the COCM conference, ties in with plumbing mechanical conference when this one is over. So he's taking a whole week and catching all that continuous ed.
I'll make a motion, we support the $1,310 for the annual training to maintain licensing for Chad.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Jansen, supported by Commissioner Karen, to approve the training. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appropriation for Cumulative Economic Development Alliance, $20,000.
Can we do them together?
They're both.
I'll make, make a motion to approve those two appropriations.
Support.
Supported.
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment. Public comment?
I have a question. We've got some folks waiting online to do committee reports. I didn't see it in our agenda.
The property,
I believe so. Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting on the, I'm just waiting on the appraisal from Canal View.
And we just approved the RFP for the.
That's what I do.
So it didn't want to.
Just making sure.
Any public comment? Last one. Another training?
We've got a hand up from.
Okay.
We got a hand up on Zoom. Faith Morrison.
Hi, Faith.
Great. Hi, commissioners. I just wanted to speak just generally to the action taken at a previous board meeting that asked for the 3 jail committees to have reports ready in April. And I just wanted to add that just to the comments and to the thoughts that the board is going through at the moment, that hopefully the idea that I understand as an advocate for the jail issues is that the intention is to pull together what's been several months worth of work by dozens of people on 3 committees and 1 subcommittee to try to help the citizens and voters of Houghton County to see that their opinions are being solicited and listened to, and that some issues that were brought up in the prior voting on the prior millage are being addressed, and that we need the ears and attention of the citizens and voters of Houghton County to hear what's been learned. So from the committee that's looking into whether various county-held properties could be used to lower the amount of a jail millage, hopefully we'll have that report, and at least as far as they were able to get to in April. The committee that was looking into what to do with the Sharon Avenue property and with the current jail property if we were to build another jail, and also the committee that's looking into the specific details of the square footages that the sheriff and his team believe that they need to do a better job, can all be heard about next week. And we heard today from Commissioner Jansen that she has a report that she's going to be sharing with the jail committee on comparing what can be learned from the Delta County Jail. And all of these efforts are being taken openly with the invitation to the public to please bring your information and your comments to the county board as we could move forward to address the need for a more safe and effective Houghton County Jail. So thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay.
I see Karen has unmuted herself.
Yes, I'm Karen Timonen from the Chassel area. I also think that we should give a little bit of praise to our plow truck drivers for what they've been doing for all of us throughout this winter so we can get from place to place. And I also want to thank Joel Karanen and his efforts of servitude to the public and looking at cost cutting avenues for taxpayers regarding the jail. Even though others might not agree, at least he has been putting and trying and put his best foot forward to serve the taxpayers. The next generations will always remember his efforts and his character, which is more valuable than any financial gain. Thank you for helping the taxpayers.
Any other comments? That's it. Anything?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.